We've all had a bit of a rough week, it would be fair to say. Things haven't turned out the way that we expected them to do, and a whole bunch of plans for the week, including the weekend plans, have had to be cancelled. Tanya Unkovic has had, I think, probably one of the toughest weeks you could possibly imagine. She joins us on the program now. Tanya, kia ora, how you doing?
I'm actually doing okay. And I don't know what okay means, but I'm actually doing okay. Today's actually a bit easier than yesterday, I have to say. I just woke up feeling a lot calmer. So thank you for asking.
And certainly you've been in our prayers. For regular listeners to the show. They hear your voice on a Friday morning, always encouraging, positive things to say. But certainly in the last wee while, you've needed to take your own advice in some of that.
Oh, look, I sure have. And, part of what we were going to talk about was the power of prayer and faith and keeping that going even during the good times in life, because that is what you draw on during the tough times. And, at times during this past 10 days, it's probably about 10 days now since Dad passed away, sometimes I think, gosh, how is it that I'm so strong, or that I'm feeling joyful about Dad in some way, knowing that he's at peace? And I can honestly say it is because of my faith. And it is because of that daily food, that daily nourishment and surrendering to God's will for us, that I believe is helping me to now get through not only Dad's passing, but the hiccup with the funeral and my mum now being in a rest home on her own, not being able to be with her while she grieves. So there's so much there. I'm just clinging on to my faith.
There was going to be a funeral this week that got cancelled at the last minute, not able to have that part of closure, I suppose, with your relationship with your dad?
Yeah. Look, it was literally, I was sitting in the hairdressers on Tuesday afternoon thinking to myself, this is the last thing that needs to be done. I can go home and relax now. It's been really busy, and we can celebrate Dad tomorrow and then take him for his burial up north the following day. And it was sitting in the hairdressers, actually, that I got wind of the case. And I just thought, I don't believe this is happening, but then again, I do believe this is happening. Yeah. And we literally had to cancel that night. And nothing happened. We were all put into lockdown, as we know. Yeah.
What happens with that, I suppose, at a personal level? I mean, I suppose you'd had the chance to say goodbye. There's not the formal funeral, but was there a sense of closure for you? Is there, or is that still an ongoing situation, Tanya?
I feel really, really fortunate, because for me personally, I feel that there has been closure. And I was with Dad for the 10 days leading up to his passing. I was with him during his passing. It was just me and him in the room. Yeah. And I've been to the funeral home for 4 days in a row and spent time with him. And on that final day, interestingly, I really felt joy. And for me, I felt closure, but this is me personally.
Yes.
And I feel complete. I feel him present. I know he's smiling now, and I just feel this. So I'm very lucky. I don't know what it would be like for someone who was to lose a family member now during closure and they cannot be with their loved one while they pass. I can't imagine that. It could happen with my mother. So, we may be talking about that at some stage, but that would be tough. But for me personally, I think being present during his illness and his passing, and even after he passed, has paid off for me. I feel grateful.
Thank you for sharing that, and certainly a lot of encouragement, I know, for people who are also going through difficult times. For you as a daughter, though, with your mum not being able to be with her, that adds another layer to the grieving process in some ways.
Well, it really does, because she is really grieving her husband. They've been together 72 years, and she's just lost her husband. We were preparing for the funeral. I said goodbye to her on Tuesday morning. I'll see you tomorrow, Mum. I'll help you get dressed, and then we'll go and do Dad's funeral. That's the last time I saw her. Yeah. So she's forgetting what's going on. She's confused. She's still grieving, and that's where my heartache is right now. I know that Dad's fine. He's probably up there telling everyone what to do, but it's my mum who probably cannot understand or forgets, and That's where my heartbreak is, and she could go at any time. So acceptance is what is helping me through.
Yeah.
I will be done. I will be done.
There will be a lot of people, I mean, certainly not the exact circumstances that you have, but in various incarnations of this, that there is an important process to do with a family event or a grieving process that has been disrupted, that this, what is a natural process, has had to be put on hold. What advice would you give to people who are listening today who are in that sort of pause button moment? How do they continue to process their feelings and genuine frustration and disappointment and hold on to faith at the same time?
Well, if you're really, really struggling, I would advise get help. Pick up the phone and talk to someone if you are really, really struggling.
Yeah.
If you can remember every hour, please God be with me. Jesus, remember me. Whatever your ritual is, whatever your prayer is, just repeat it time and time again. You know, for me it is, okay, Lord, your will be done. I accept your will, whatever it be. Just give me the strength to get through this one day. And it's one day at a time, one day at a time. But I do encourage people to reach out. COVID grief is very, very different. And actually, I've got an article on my website about why COVID grief is very different. And it's interesting that we now have to go back and look at that again. So I'll pull that out for people. But it is very different. The grieving process is very different. You know, there's a layer of anger there as well, you know, but underneath the anger is always pain and sadness. So feelings all over the place to deal with.
Tanya, thank you for being so strong and so brave to be able to share your pain, your frustration, the difficulty that you've been through this week. And I know that there'll be others who are encouraged by this even as they go through difficult times. If people wanted to access that article or other resources, yes, pray, but reach out and talk to people on the phone if you need to. But those resources, those connection points, they're available on your website, Tanya?
Yes, they are available on my website. And what I'll do is I'll put a link to it on my Facebook page today. On my private Facebook page, there's a little link with a photo of even you on it, Andrew, today.
Don't let that put you off. Click anyway. Exactly.
So I'll pop it there in the comments for people to read.
Well, Tanya, thank you so much again. Kia kaha. We will continue to uphold you and your family in prayer at this very difficult time. But thanks for your comments today.
Thank you.